Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to show you all the tips and the tricks that I use to make FE Valvetrain last at over 7,000 RPM and 600 lift. Let's get started. First of all, I'd like to say I'm not a professional engine builder. I build my own engines, I race with them, and they seem to work pretty good for me. The advice I'm going to give you is what's worked for me over the years. Your engine builder is telling you something different, listen to him and follow his advice, because he's the guy ultimately responsible for giving you a good engine. First, I want to show you what a stock FE rocker arm system looks like if you're not familiar with them. This is an original piece taken off a hydraulic lifter engine, I think a 390 I disassembled at some point. It has non-adjustable rocker arms, springs to keep the rocker arms from moving back and forth and keep them stable on the valve stems, standard aluminum stands, and standard shaft to hold it all together. It's a decent piece, plenty good for stock, maybe a little better than stock, but if you're going to run your engine pretty hard, you're going to race it, you like to keep the stock Valvetrain components in place, you're going to have to do a little better. These are all the components that I use to build a good solid rocker shaft system for the FEs. Let's start with the shafts. That's always a good place to start. The shafts here that I'm going to be using for my 398 build are stock rocker shafts. Generally, I would not use these, especially for something with more lift, but this one has low spring pressures and also about 500 lift. Now, if you're going to go into the 600 lift range like I talked about, you're going to need better as well. Something from DSC Motorsports, he sells the thicker, hardened shafts. If I'm not mistaken, they're roll ground, real beefy units. Those are the ones that I go to for anything with more lift than what I'm using in this 398 I'm building now. But for what I'm doing, the stock shafts will work just fine. From there, we'll move into the rocker arms. Here is a stock FE adjustable rocker arm. You can see it's a decent piece. It's a stock piece. Nothing too special about it. But what I like to do is when I look for a good rocker arm to use, I try to see about the wear inside the rocker arm, particularly down here. This is where all the pressure is on the rocker arm. Keep in mind, it's being pushed up by the lifter and pushing down the valve. So that's where all the pressure is going to be, right here. You mainly want to look right in this area for the wear. If the wear looks good, what I'll do is basically take a slight Scotch-Brite hone, go through there just to clean it up, and that's about it. But I'll move on to the rocker arms I've modified. From there, what I'll do is I'll remove this parting line from the casting. I'll smooth it out and finish it off all the way around. And you can see there's some casting flaws right in there. You'll want to smooth all that as well. It doesn't hurt to kind of polish the pad, just to go over and make sure you have that parting line smoothed out as best as possible without taking off too much material, because then you start getting into losing strength on the rocker arm. You're going to want to replace the factory hardware or the adjusters. They're fine if you have a stock camshaft, but what happens over time is they have sort of like an interference fit on the threads. And as you turn it in, they kind of bind on the threads in the rocker arm. That's okay, but over the years of the adjustments in and out, that interference loosens up, and these end up sometimes walking out and loosening up the lash. What I'll always do is change over to an adjuster that has a positive stop nut on it. A couple manufacturers make them, Harlan Sharp, PRW. I see nothing wrong with PRW pieces for this application. They actually have a smaller nut which will fit better on the top of this rocker arm area. It needs to register nice and flat on there, which is another thing too. You want to make sure that area is flat. Next thing to look at are the stands themselves. I just use stock, low riser rocker stands, nothing special. Again, you make sure, nothing happened in here where they got galled up. Nothing rotates in there, so there shouldn't be any issue. But you just basically want to clean these up. Again, Scotch-Brite hone, go through there just to make sure there are no burrs, and these should be good. Moving to what holds the whole assembly down are the bolts. You're going to have two kinds of bolts with the FEs. This style has a neck down area. This is the one you want to use for the oil port. This is the location of the oil port where you want to use that bolt. You can see its location in reference with the other bolts that hold the rocker shaft system down to the head. Do need to use this neck down bolt, but upgrade these to grade 8 bolts. It's a little expense, but well worth it. These, even though it's going to be only 3 holding it down, it's going to give you a little more stability to hold that rocker shaft to the cylinder head. Now, when building the shaft systems, I purchased these from DSC Motorsports as well. Solid shims to replace the springs that you saw earlier on the hydraulic lifter rocker arms. So this is basically how it's going to look once it's all assembled and ready to go in the engine. What you're going to do is mock it up on the engine, and there are shims supplied with the kit from DSC Motorsport marked in different thicknesses, and you're going to want to shim the rocker arm out over the valve tip the best that you can side to side. There's really nothing you can do front to back unless you change the pad height, but I found that generally at about 600, 6¼ lift, you're still going to be right in that range where this rocker arm's still going to ride pretty centered across the tip of the valve. If you need more shims, Durabond. I saved this from the last box I bought. I use Durabond. These are a 15 thousandths thickness, part number 1050 HP. In my opinion, one of the key components to making this setup live under the 7,000 RPM, over 600 lift, are the lifters and the push rods. I'm a big fan of using what's called shell lifters. Basically, it's just a shell of a lifter. There's nothing inside of it. The push rod just goes all the way down in the bottom where there's a little cup that it sits in to center it in the lifter. These are super lightweight. I've never seen one break, and with the less weight on all the Valvetrain, it just helps everything live a little bit longer. These are available brand new, again from DSC Motorsports. These are made by Urson, and I have used these in all my shell lifter, solid lifter build engines. I've used these on new cams. I've used them on used cams. Matter of fact, I'm a big proponent for using used camshafts. The camshaft in my 398 I'm putting together right now, that's a used camshaft. I have no fear about using a used camshaft because you don't have to worry about breaking it in. And since we are going with the shell lifters, you will need a longer push rod than stock. This push rod is approximately 10.46, somewhere in that range for the shell lifters. It has the added length because it drops down into the lifter itself. The stock FE push rods are a little shorter, I think a little over an inch shorter than this. So that's another thing to be aware of. Now you may be saying, okay, that all sounds great. What about proof of concept? Basically, have you done this before? Yeah, I have. Again, I'll go back to saying that in this build, if you're going to shoot for that higher RPM, 7,000, a little over 7,000, over 600 lift, I would get the hardened shafts, the thicker hardened shafts. They are super solid. You don't need end supports to keep them together. You can do the end supports. They'll give you some added insurance. But what I've found, they aren't totally necessary. As far as the rocker arm modification that I've done, I spoke to a legendary Ford racer, Al Joniak, he said that's exactly what he did to his rocker arms when he raced the FEs. So I felt pretty confident that doing what I did to these was the right thing to do. I didn't ask him before I did it. I just did it thinking that, just looking at it like, okay, well, this could be good to do. Apparently, it definitely was. The last engine I put together was a 416, and that engine would regularly see 6,500 RPM. There was a 600 lift solid cam in it. I would spin that thing up to 7,500 RPM on occasion. It wasn't necessary, but I just wanted to see durability. Never had an issue with any kind of push rod bending, or that's typical with FEs. Never had an issue with any kind of Valvetrain coming out of adjustment. It was a good solid platform. But again, the heavier duty solid shafts, not solid shaft, but the heavier duty roll ground shafts that I got from DSC. One more thing I want to touch on is, some of you may be wondering, well, what about restricting the oil up to the top end? FEs are known to flood the cylinder heads with oil. You want to stop some of that oil from getting up to the heads and just rolling down into the engine, and keep that oil down at the bottom end. I'm not a fan of those restrictors because I think they go against what the original architecture of the oil system is supposed to be. This rocker shaft and this rocker arm are your restrictor. The clearance between these two is what limits the oil flow. I think a big part of the reason why guys back in the day would put restrictors in their FE engines on the cylinder heads is that these rocker shafts, or rocker arms, were worn out. They would just start bleeding oil out through between the clearance of the rocker arm and the shaft. They would put restrictors in it, and they would be like, oh, okay, that works great. Maybe we must need restrictors for this top end. Well, in that sense you did, because your stuff was worn out. What you should have done was replace your rocker shafts and your rocker arms. Kind of a Band-Aid, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of it. I don't recommend it. Again, I'll go back to what I said in the beginning of the video. If your engine builder wants you to put restrictors in your top end, listen to him. He wants you to do it that way. That's how he built the engine. Take his advice and follow it. For me, that's not something that I would do. But again, my opinion. Hopefully some of the tips and the tricks that I use in my engines will benefit you, and you'll learn maybe a couple things from the video. If you don't like anything that I suggested you do, don't do it. Again, go back to your engine builder, talk to him. But everything that I showed in this video will be used in this 398. And we're going to be putting this thing up on the run stand very soon, breaking it in and getting ready to put in the 60 Ford. And then we're going to have another proof of concept. I'm going to take that 60 Ford to the drag strip and see what this old 398 is going to do in that big old barge. But thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel.